Hi, this is Asma with Explain, and today I'll be walking you through a fitness chef agent and an end-to-end application that you can make around this agent. So let me walk you through the fitness chef agent first. This agent contains a scraper website tool, and what this tool does is that it goes to this website, which is the Natural Medicines of Therapeutic Research.com, and it has a chart for the protein content of common foods, and it uses this as a reference for your protein goals. It also has a recipes index. So what the recipes index is that it acts as a data source for your agent, and we're using a Kaggle data set on like recipes of different types of recipes. This index is going to have different recipes and information about these recipes inserted into them. So that's our recipe index, and this recipe index is used as part of our agent. And what this agent is going to do is that when you provide with your ingredients that you have available and your protein goal, it's going to try to use these two references, which is the index as well as the natural medicines link, to give you recipes that meet your protein goals. So it's going to give you the ingredients, the total grams or the amount of that ingredient that you need, and it's going to give you the amount of protein in each of these ingredients, and it's going to give you a unique recipe that it creates on its own. But it also gives you two similar recipes that it finds from the index based on the ingredients that you provide. You can run your agent like this. So you basically just give it the ingredients that you have available, and it's going to give you a unique recipe with the ingredients as well as some other similar recipes. It might swap out a couple extra ingredients that it finds, but it's going to give you these recipes in case that you have those ingredients available. Or when you deploy your agent on Explain and you go to your dashboard, you will see that you have an agent ID and you have API integration. And under API integration, you're going to see an agent endpoint. This agent endpoint URL is what you would use to communicate with this agent as part of your application. You already have some examples of how this integration will work across a couple of different languages. But in case you have a different language, you can just use your URL to work with your application. So let me show you how I have this set up in an application. This is Vercel. Vercel allows you to deploy your applications and they're always ready, and you can connect this with your GitHub that every time you push or commit changes, it immediately deploys it on its own. It's really convenient to use, and this is the endpoint deployment URL for my website, and you can kind of see it, my application. I have this UI set up in 3 different ways that you can communicate with the agent. So you have 3 different tabs. You can chat with it like you do with the agent in general. So you provide your protein goal and your ingredients, and it's going to give you recipes that match your protein goals. Or you can just give it the ingredients that you have available, and it's going to just suggest you recipes that it can with the ingredients that you have. Another aspect of this is that you can give your daily protein goal and your weight and whether you're interested in muscle gain, maintenance, or fat loss. And it's also going to then give you recipe ideas based on what your protein goal is. And that's another aspect of how you can use this agent. I will show you what the response looks like, but I'm also going to show you the logs and the back end aspect of it. This is a really simple UI that I made using Vercel, and they have ready-made templates that you can use to get started with the platform, and then you can integrate your explain endpoint logic as well. So here is the recipe that it provided. So it gave me the protein breakdown, a unique recipe, as well as some similar recipes that I could make if I had the additional ingredients ready. Coming to the Vercel deployment page, so this is my dashboard at Vercel, and you can actually go to the logs and see the execution of how your explain agent, how Vercel called the explain agent endpoint. So you're going to see that it checked if the API key exists, submitted the query to the explain endpoint. You get back a request ID. And this is basically once after you submit your post request. And then when you get your, which is this one, you're going to make a get request, and you're going to attempt to poll the request for results. And you're going to see a couple of attempts that made till just waiting for the results to come together. And then finally, you're going to see the status as being a success, and you're going to see the output. Let me also take you to the backend code just so that we could take a look. This is the API endpoint where we're making a post request. This is when we get our request ID, and then we essentially send back a post get request with a result URL, and we wait for it. This is a bunch of error and handling that we have set up just to wait for the result to come back. And this once the result comes back, you send it back to the agent to finish your response and give it back to the user. And that's how simple integrating Explain agents actually is. And let me know how you are using Explain agents in your applications. And I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.